Hi, this is Laurent from Automatic Choices, and this is an introduction about me as a coach for coaches, because I assume that you're going to be slightly more interested in the journey and the modalities I've learned and work with for your own benefit. This might be less interesting if you are a senior leader in an organization, although it's going to be quite interesting if you are in leadership and development, or if you are someone who is also naturally inclined and interested in understanding where this coaching comes from. So I started in 2012. Today I have about 6,000 hours of practice of coaching on one or team coaching. I also train coaches and engage, of course, in many, many courses. And that's what this short video, maybe 3-4 minutes, is about. I started in 2012 with a master in NLP in Singapore and learned a lot about neuro-linguistic programming, learned a lot about myself, learned a lot about my body, my mind. All of this was connecting and engaging and therefore creating the outcome and the impact I was having in the world around me. At the same time, I joined the fast track program of the CTI, the coactive model in London. I was somewhat quite intense, still am sometimes, and learn a lot from the people and the community in London. I wanted to learn in a place and in a community which was close to my cultural roots. This was important to me at the time, and I don't regret it at all. It was breathtaking, it was challenging, it was a big journey. For me, a big journey of self-discovery and discovery of others, and also the development of a profession. Then I joined ORSC for systemic coaching, because I quickly saw in my practice with leaders in organizations, very senior leaders in organizations, the importance and the necessity of considering the system, the stakeholders, and all the implications that we have in our relationship, because relationships are very much alive. And that helped me to do a much more working with teams, working with partnership, working with lawyers, with investment fund, with VCP, you name it, and founders of organization, of course, in Singapore. I also invested a lot of time, maybe the last 7 years, working on understanding the stages of adult development with the leadership maturity framework in multiple times, because I'm someone who needs to repeat things. Everything I've learned, every program I maybe went 2 or 3 times, just to get a sense, to understand the community better, to practice, and also to come back to see who I'm becoming is understanding better what's coming through and what I can learn from others, and how I can apply this with my client and me in my life in general. I also spend a lot of time, and this is maybe one of the most significant investment of time, but also transcending practice I have to experience, is in developing meditative practice, where I learned to sit on retreats. Most of them were short. They were 7 to 10 days, maybe a couple of times a year, and a lot, of course, daily meditation practice to learn to meet myself, develop relationship with my energy, develop relationship with the world in a different way, understanding more about the composition of the world and how it's organized, and also how the structure in my mind are helping me to see and be in touch with sort of the illusion of the world in front of me. Illusion as in temporary structure which keep falling off. You might have recognized that when you learn about yourself, the way you see the world is not what you used to believe it was. And therefore, learning to be with this and beyond the structure of worlds and beyond the structures of convention and society has been tremendously helpful, provided that I have enough. I, of course, engaged in a lot of others courses and classes and community. And that's what led me to meet people where they were and work with them, for some of them for 4 years, 5 years, some others for a much shorter period of time. But during these 6,000 hours, I learned to be with the fascination, be with what's fascinating in us, in you, in all of us, so that we start to be with what there is and more than what we think there is, and facilitate the emergence with less judgment, because of course there is judgment, with less judgment, so that the person in front of us can finally meet themselves at this moment and welcome what they recognize, so that barriers, borders, belief can dissolve and give space to other structure. In nature does that every day, that how tree grows, that how animal grows, that how we grow, that how society is developing. And I think that's essential in those conversations, to be with the essence of the conversation as it's guiding us to create or to fabricate temporary structure to continue the guidance as we engage with others, with the understanding that those structures are just temporary and supportive. If this is compelling in some ways, or if you're curious about know more about that or more about me and how we can work together and discuss together and learn from each other, get in touch.